Welcome to Life Stories, where every tale offers inspiration and profound lessons about resilience, faith, and the human spirit. In today's story, we journey with Anna, a young woman from a humble village whose life is transformed when she leaves home for a prestigious school. What begins as a quest for belonging leads her into a shadowy sisterhood, testing her faith, her values, and her very identity. Will Anna find the strength to break free and rediscover her true self? Stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe to Life Stories to begin today's journey of hope and redemption. Nestled in the Appalachian Hills, Ridgewood was the kind of place where time seemed to stand still. The air carried the scent of fresh pine, and the mountains stood as silent witnesses to the lives unfolding below. For Anna, Ridgewood wasn't just home, it was a sanctuary. Here, in the small wooden house she shared with her parents, she learned the values that would shape her life: integrity, hard work, and an unshakable faith in God. Her father, a farmer with weathered hands and a kind heart, worked tirelessly from dawn till dusk, nurturing the soil and providing for his family. Her mother, a talented basket weaver, spent countless hours crafting intricate patterns that told stories of their heritage. Though they didn't have much by way of material possessions, their home was filled with laughter, hymns, and the warmth of love. Anna, their only child, was the apple of their eye, with deep brown eyes that sparkled with curiosity and a smile that could light up even the gloomiest day. She was a vision of grace and beauty. Her parents often said she was their miracle, a gift they cherished more than anything else in the world. In the evenings, after the day's work was done, Anna would sit on the porch with her parents, their voices blending in harmony as they sang hymns. The sound carried through the village, a soothing balm for all who heard it. Those moments were sacred to Anna. They reminded her of the strength that came from family and faith. Despite their financial struggles, Anna's parents believed deeply in the power of education. Education will open doors for you, Anna, her father would say, his voice steady with conviction. It's the one thing no one can ever take away from you. So, when the opportunity arose for Anna to attend St. Mary's Academy, a prestigious all-girls school known for its high standards, they didn't hesitate. They sold their best harvest and worked late into the night to weave extra baskets, all to afford her tuition. The night before Anna's departure was bittersweet. As they sat together for what felt like the last time, her father took her hand, his calloused fingers rough against her smooth skin. "You are the light of our family, Anna," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Hold on to God, and no storm will ever dim your shine." Her mother, always the quieter one, held her tightly, her stern face betraying the pride and fear she felt in equal measure. "Remember who you are," she whispered. "The world is vast, but our God is bigger. Never forget the values we've taught you." When the morning came, the entire village gathered to see Anna off. They brought gifts, baskets of fruit, hand-carved beads, and heartfelt prayers. The farewells were filled with warmth, yet tinged with the sadness of parting. As the train pulled away, Anna pressed her hand against the window, watching her parents grow smaller in the distance. She couldn't help but wonder if she was ready for the journey ahead. The arrival at St. Mary's Academy was nothing short of overwhelming. The sprawling campus, with its towering buildings covered in ivy, stood in stark contrast to the simplicity of Ridgewood. Students in crisp uniforms moved with purpose, their confidence both intimidating and inspiring. For Anna, it felt like stepping into another world, one that was both exciting and terrifying. She carried with her the hopes and dreams of her parents and the weight of her village's faith. But deep down, she couldn't shake the fear that she might not belong. Her roommate, Kelly, was a whirlwind of energy. With her easy smile and sharp wit, she quickly became Anna's guide to this new environment. Kelly had a knack for making people feel at ease, and her presence was a welcome comfort to Anna. "You're going to love it here," Kelly said on their first evening together, her voice filled with enthusiasm. It's not just about the academics, it's about the people. The connections. The experience. Trust me. You'll fit right in. Anna smiled, grateful for Kelly's kindness. But a part of her remained hesitant. St. Mary's was a far cry from Ridgewood, and she wasn't sure if she could hold on to the values that had always defined her. As she lay in bed that night, listening to the faint hum of the city beyond the campus, Anna clung to her father's words. Hold on to God, he had said. But could she? In this strange new world, where everything seemed larger and more complicated, she wasn't sure. Still, as sleep finally claimed her, Anna whispered a silent prayer. Help me, Lord, to stay true to who I am. It was a simple plea, but in that moment, it was all she had. Anna's second week at St. Mary's Academy was a whirlwind of introductions, lectures, and adjustments. The towering stone buildings, with their ivy-draped facades and sprawling courtyards, gave the campus an almost regal air. Inside the classrooms, teachers exuded authority, their voices commanding the attention of students eager to learn. For Anna, it was an overwhelming but thrilling experience, a far cry from the quiet rhythms of Ridgewood. Kelly, her roommate, quickly became her closest confidant. Effortlessly charismatic, Kelly introduced Anna to the unspoken rules of campus life. See that group over there, she whispered one day, nodding toward a cluster of girls laughing near the library steps. That's the debate club. They're nice enough, but good luck getting a word in. And over there, that's the tennis team. All they care about is winning. Anna chuckled, appreciating Kelly's light-hearted guidance. It made the vastness of the school feel less intimidating. Kelly was a natural leader, always at the center of every group, her magnetic personality drawing others to her. To Anna, who often felt like an outsider, Kelly's friendship was a lifeline. But not everything about St. Mary's felt warm and welcoming. Late at night, when the dormitory was silent, Anna would hear faint sounds drifting through the air, rhythmic drumming, whispered chants, and the occasional flicker of candlelight in the distance. It sent chills down her spine, a strange juxtaposition to the otherwise pristine and orderly campus. Kelly, Anna asked one night, her voice hesitant, do you ever hear things like chanting or drumming? Kelly laughed, brushing it off with a wave of her hand. Oh, that. It's just some silly tradition. Every school has its quirks. Anna, don't overthink it. Anna tried to take Kelly's words to heart, but the unease lingered. She had grown up in a home where spiritual matters were taken seriously, and the strange occurrences at St. Mary's felt anything but trivial. Her unease deepened when she encountered Amora, a strikingly beautiful senior with an air of mystery. Amora was the kind of girl who seemed to glide through life effortlessly, her presence commanding attention wherever she went. One afternoon, as Anna walked back to her dorm, she noticed a group of girls gathered under a large oak tree. Their laughter was light and carefree, but their eyes held a deeper, almost secretive intensity. Amora caught Anna's gaze and smiled, a slow, enigmatic smile that sent a shiver down her spine. Anna. Right. Amora called out, her voice smooth and melodic. You should join us sometime. Join you for what? Anna asked, her curiosity battling with a sense of apprehension. Oh, you'll see. Amora replied, her tone playful yet cryptic. It's enlightening. That night, Kelly invited Anna to what she called a study circle. You've been so uptight lately, Kelly teased. You need to unwind. Trust me. It's just a casual gathering with some of the girls. You'll love it. Despite her reservations, Anna agreed. She reasoned that it might be a good way to make friends and feel more connected to the campus. The meeting was held in a secluded room at the edge of campus, its dimly lit interior filled with the scent of burning herbs. The girls greeted Anna warmly, their laughter and camaraderie putting her at ease. At first, it felt like an innocent bonding session. They spoke of empowerment, loyalty, and breaking free from societal expectations. But as the night wore on, the atmosphere shifted. The girls began chanting in a language Anna didn't recognize, their voices rising in intensity. Kelly handed her a carved wooden object, instructing her to repeat certain words. The room seemed to spin as Anna hesitated, unsure of what to do. "It's just a tradition," Kelly said, her voice soft but insistent. "Go on. You'll feel amazing afterward." Reluctantly, Anna complied, her voice trembling as she repeated the unfamiliar words. When it was over, the girls cheered, their excitement contagious. Amora placed a hand on Anna's shoulder, her eyes gleaming in the candlelight. "Welcome, Anna," she said. "You're one of us now." Anna smiled weakly, but a chill ran down her spine. Something about the experience felt deeply wrong, as though she had crossed a line she didn't fully understand. The following days were a blur. Anna couldn't stop replaying the events of that night in her mind, the chants, the strange object, and Amora's hauntingly cryptic smile. Yet, to her surprise, she also felt a newfound sense of belonging. For the first time, she wasn't just the naive girl from Ridgewood. She was part of something larger, something powerful and secretive. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. As she walked through the campus, the towering buildings seemed less inviting, their ivy-covered walls casting long shadows. The warmth of Ridgewood and the faith that had been her foundation felt like distant memories. Little did Anna know, her journey at St. Mary's was about to challenge everything she believed in and everything she thought she knew about herself. The days following Anna's initiation into the group were unlike anything she had experienced before. The Sisters of the Shroud, as they called themselves, quickly became a constant presence in her life. At meals, they invited her to sit with them, their laughter and easy camaraderie making her feel welcome in a way that she hadn't since leaving Ridgewood. Amora, with her effortless grace, and Kelly, with her sharp wit, were always by her side. For the first time, Anna felt as though she truly belonged. The pressure of academic life, the weight of her parents' expectations, and the homesickness that gnawed at her seemed to ease. The sisterhood felt like a family, offering her an intoxicating escape from the pressures that had followed her to St. Mary's. Yet, not everything about the group was comforting. Their gatherings became more frequent and their rituals more intense. What had started as seemingly harmless chants and shared moments of empowerment began to take on a darker tone. One evening, the sisters met in a hidden room beneath the library, its walls lined with old books and faintly glowing candles. Amora, standing at the center, sprinkled a red powder into a burning candle, causing the flame to flare unnaturally high. The girls gasped in awe, their eyes alight with excitement. "What's in the powder?" Anna asked, her voice trembling slightly. Amora smiled, her expression both reassuring and unsettling. "Knowledge. Power. Things you wouldn't understand yet." Anna tried to laugh it off, but the unease in her chest deepened. She began noticing changes in herself, subtle but undeniable. Her prayers, once fervent and filled with faith, now felt hollow. The hymns she used to sing with her parents echoed in her mind like distant memories, overshadowed by the chants of the sisterhood. Even her dreams turned dark, filled with shadowy figures and voices she couldn't decipher. Despite the growing unease, Anna felt trapped. The sisterhood had become her refuge, and breaking away seemed impossible. She couldn't shake the fear that without them, she would once again be the outsider, the girl who didn't belong. One afternoon, as she walked back to her dorm, Anna noticed Emily, a shy freshman, sitting alone under a tree. Kelly had mentioned earlier that it was time for Anna to recruit someone into the group, a task that made her stomach churn. "If you don't bring her in," Kelly had warned, "you'll never rise in the sisterhood. And trust me, staying at the bottom is dangerous." Anna hesitated, but the pressure was overwhelming. She approached Emily, her voice gentle as she spoke of sisterhood and empowerment. Emily's wide-eyed trust made Anna's heart ache. But the younger girl agreed eagerly to attend a meeting. That night, during Emily's initiation, Anna's unease turned to outright dread. As Emily repeated the ritual words, her eyes glazed over, and she collapsed to the floor. The other sisters laughed it off. But Anna's instincts screamed that something was deeply wrong. Back in her dorm room, Anna stared at her reflection in the mirror, barely recognizing the girl looking back at her. "What have I become?" she wondered, tears streaming down her face. But it felt too late to turn back. The sisterhood's influence had woven itself into her life, tightening its hold with each passing day. Amora and Kelly began to expect more from Anna, urging her to lead new recruits and participate in increasingly elaborate rituals. The weight of their expectations was suffocating. Yet Anna couldn't find the strength to resist. One evening, during a particularly tense gathering, Amora held an intricately carved dagger aloft, its handle adorned with strange symbols. "Every sister must make a sacrifice," she said, her voice echoing in the candlelit room. "It's the only way to ascend." Anna's hands trembled as Amora placed the dagger in front of her. "Prove your loyalty," Amora whispered, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. The room fell silent, the weight of expectation pressing down on Anna. Her mind raced, searching for an escape. But there was none. With a shaky breath, she placed the dagger on the altar, refusing to carry out whatever dark act they had planned. Amora's smile faded, replaced by a cold, calculating expression. "Weakness," she hissed. "But we'll let it slide this time. You'll learn soon enough." That night, as Anna lay in bed, her heart pounding, she resolved to find a way out. The sisterhood was no longer a refuge, it was a trap. One that threatened to consume her entirely. Anna knew she had to act. But the question remained, how could she escape a web that had entangled every part of her life? The days after Anna refused to perform the sacrifice were fraught with tension. Though Amora claimed to let it slide, the air around the sisterhood shifted. The camaraderie that had once made Anna feel welcome now felt like a thin veneer over something darker. Every glance lingered too long. Every conversation carried an edge. Kelly, who had once been a source of comfort, seemed to grow distant. Her sharp wit turned biting, her laughter hollow. "You're not pulling your weight, Anna," she said one evening, her tone light but laced with something harder. "We all have to prove ourselves sooner or later." The weight of expectation pressed heavily on Anna. She felt the walls of St. Mary's, which had once seemed full of possibility, closing in. At night, her dreams grew more vivid and unsettling. Shadowy figures whispered her name, their voices a haunting chorus she couldn't escape. She often woke in a cold sweat, clutching the small Bible her mother had packed for her. One particularly restless night, Anna dreamed of Ridgewood. She was standing in her family's living room, surrounded by the familiar warmth of home. But something was off, the room was empty. The walls bare. The hymns that had once filled the air were replaced by an oppressive silence. Suddenly, an elderly woman stepped out of the shadows. She was regal, dressed in traditional attire adorned with beads and symbols. "Who are you?" Anna asked, her voice trembling. The woman's gaze was steady, her voice firm yet kind. "I am Mary Ellen," she said, "the protector of those who call out for deliverance. Child, you are treading a dangerous path. Return to your roots before it is too late." When Anna awoke, the dream lingered in her mind. The name Mary Ellen was familiar, a figure from one of her grandmother's stories, a symbol of protection and wisdom. The dream left her both comforted and unsettled, a reminder of the values she had left behind. The following day, during a lecture on morality, Pastor Harris, a visiting minister, spoke about the importance of staying true to one's faith. His words struck a chord with Anna, and she found herself lingering after class. "Pastor Harris," she said, her voice tentative, "may I speak with you?" He turned to her, his eyes kind but searching. "Of course. Anna, what's on your heart?" She hesitated, the weight of her secrets threatening to crush her. I've been struggling, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Pastor Harris nodded, his expression grave but compassionate. We all struggle, child. But remember, no darkness is greater than God's light. His words stayed with Anna, planting a seed of hope. That evening, she opened her Bible for the first time in weeks, her eyes falling on a verse that seemed meant just for her. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? But her moment of reflection was short-lived. A knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. It was Kelly, flanked by two other sisters. We need to talk, Kelly said, her voice low and dangerous. They led Anna to the meeting room, where Amora was waiting. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls, their movements almost alive. Anna, Amora said, her tone icy. We've heard whispers that you've been talking to outsiders. Do you know what happens to traitors? Anna's chest tightened, fear gripping her like a vice. I haven't betrayed anyone, she said, her voice trembling but defiant. I just needed clarity. Amora's predatory smile sent a chill down Anna's spine. We'll help you find clarity, she said. At her signal, two girls seized Anna by the arms, forcing her to her knees. The room seemed to darken, the air growing thick with tension. Amora raised the carved staff she often used during rituals, her voice rising in a chant that sent shivers down Anna's spine. The other sisters joined in, their voices blending into an unsettling harmony. Anna's fear reached a fever pitch. But amidst the chaos, she remembered the dream, the strength of Mary Ellen's gaze, her firm but gentle words. Return to your roots. Summoning every ounce of courage, Anna interrupted the ritual. No, she said, her voice cutting through the chanting like a blade. I won't be part of this anymore. The room fell silent, the candles flickering violently as if responding to her defiance. Amora's face twisted in fury. You don't get to leave, she hissed. You're bound to us. You swore an oath. But Anna's resolve had hardened. I may have made a mistake, she said, her voice steady, but I won't let it define me. Whatever power you think you have is nothing compared to the God I serve. Amora's laughter was chilling, echoing through the room. You think your God can save you here? You're already ours. Without another word, Anna broke free from the girl's grasp and bolted for the door. She didn't stop running until she reached the small chapel at the edge of campus, falling to her knees in desperate prayer. God, I've lost my way, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. Help me find the strength to break free. As she prayed, a sense of peace washed over her, a warmth that seemed to envelop her completely. For the first time in weeks, Anna felt a spark of hope. She wasn't alone, and she wasn't powerless. The battle wasn't over, but she was ready to fight. The morning after her desperate prayer in the chapel, Anna woke with a clarity she hadn't felt in weeks. Her decision to defy the sisterhood had set her on a path of resistance. But it was also a path fraught with danger. The Sisters of the Shroud wouldn't let her go easily, and their influence was everywhere. Her resolve was tested almost immediately. Whispers followed her through the hallways, and she caught furtive glances from girls who once greeted her warmly. Kelly, once her closest ally, now seemed like a stranger, her smiles replaced with icy stares. It wasn't long before Anna realized the sisterhood was watching her every move. Pastor Harris, who had sensed the weight on Anna's heart, sought her out. You look troubled. Anna, he said, his voice gentle but firm. Have you been praying? She nodded, tears brimming in her eyes. I have. But it's not enough. They're everywhere, and they won't let me leave. I feel trapped. Pastor Harris placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. The spiritual battle is often mirrored in the physical world, he said. Stay vigilant and steadfast in your faith. Pray constantly, and remember that no evil is greater than the God who loves you. His words strengthened her resolve, but the fear lingered. That evening, as she prepared for bed, Anna placed her Bible under her pillow, whispering prayers into the silence. Yet sleep eluded her. When it finally came, it brought with it a vivid and unsettling dream. In her dream, Anna stood in a vast, barren desert. Shadows danced around her, their forms flickering and twisting like smoke. Among them was Amora, her eyes glowing with an unnatural light. "You can't run, Anna," Amora said, her voice echoing like a thunderclap. "You belong to us." But just as Amora reached for her, a blinding light pierced the darkness. From the light emerged a regal, elderly woman adorned with beads and traditional attire. It was Mary Ellen, the figure from Anna's earlier dream. "Fear not," Mary Ellen said, her voice resonant and soothing. "The power of the light always triumphs over the shadows. Stand strong and call upon the wisdom of those who came before you. They walk with you." When Anna awoke, the dream lingered, filling her with a renewed sense of courage. The ancestors her family had spoken of in stories seemed closer than ever, their strength coursing through her veins. Later that day, as Anna crossed the campus, Kelly and 2 other sisters confronted her. Their faces were masks of anger and betrayal. "We warned you," Kelly said, her voice low and venomous. "You can't just leave." Anna held her ground, clutching the Bible hidden in her bag. "I don't belong to you," she said firmly. "Your power is nothing compared to the God I serve." Amora appeared from the shadows, her presence commanding. "You're making a mistake, Anna," she said, her tone cold and calculating. "Perhaps you need a final lesson." Before Anna could respond, the sisters began chanting in unison, their words guttural and unsettling. The air around them grew heavy, the ground beneath Anna's feet seeming to shift. An invisible force pressed against her, as though trying to pull her under. But instead of succumbing to fear, Anna closed her eyes and began to pray aloud. Her voice was shaky at first, but as she continued, it grew stronger, infused with faith. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," she said, her words cutting through the sisters' chants like a blade. The oppressive force began to waver, the air shimmering as if caught in a heatwave. Amora's confident expression faltered, disbelief flickering in her eyes. "What are you doing?" she hissed. Anna didn't stop. She prayed louder, invoking every scripture her parents had taught her. Suddenly, a powerful wind swept through the area, extinguishing the candles the sisters had lit. The ritual was broken. Amora stumbled back, her composure crumbling. "This isn't over," she spat, retreating into the shadows with the other sisters. Anna stood trembling, but her heart was steady. She had won this round, but she knew the battle wasn't finished. That night, she called Pastor Harris. "They tried again," she said, her voice heavy with exhaustion. "Then we must escalate," he replied. "You need a cleansing, Anna. And this time, your parents must be involved." The next morning, Anna packed her belongings and boarded a bus home. As the bus rumbled toward Ridgewood, she replayed the events of the past weeks in her mind. Fear still clung to her, but so did hope. She was returning to the place where her faith had been nurtured, and she knew her family would stand by her side. When she arrived, her mother greeted her with open arms, immediately sensing the burden Anna carried. "Anna, my child," she said, holding her tightly, "what has happened to you?" Her father joined them, his presence steady and reassuring. "Let's sit down," he said. "You're home now. Whatever it is, we'll face it together." Surrounded by the love of her family, Anna felt the first glimmers of peace. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but she was no longer alone. Together, they would face the darkness and overcome it. In the comfort of her family's small living room, Anna began to unburden her heart. Her voice shook as she recounted the events at St. Mary's, the sisterhood, the rituals, the dark presence that had infiltrated her life. Her parents listened in stunned silence, their expressions shifting from shock to resolve. Her mother, ever perceptive, reached for Anna's hand. Her grip firm yet comforting. "This is not just a fight against the girls at that school," she said. "This is a battle for your soul." Her father nodded. His deep voice steady. "You are stronger than this, Anna. God is with you. And so are we. Together. We will break these chains." The conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Pastor Harris, carrying his well-worn Bible and a small bottle of anointing oil. His expression was grave but filled with quiet determination. "This is no ordinary trial," he said. "It is a spiritual battle. But Anna, you are not alone. God has been with you every step of the way, even when you felt lost." The cleansing ceremony began in the same living room where Anna had spent so many happy moments as a child. She knelt in the center of the room as her parents and Pastor Harris encircled her, their prayers filling the air with a power that was almost tangible. The words of the prayers rose in intensity, each one a shield against the darkness that had tried to claim her. Pastor Harris anointed Anna's forehead with oil, his voice firm as he invoked deliverance. As the ceremony continued, Anna felt a searing heat spread through her body. It wasn't painful, but it was overwhelming, as though every shadow that had clung to her was being burned away. Tears streamed down her face, a mix of relief and release. Suddenly, the room grew cold, the lights flickered, and a strange wind swept through the house, rattling the windows. Anna's mother's voice grew louder, unwavering as she cried out, "You have no power here. Leave this house in the name of God." Anna felt a crushing pressure in her chest, as if something unseen was trying to hold on. But then she remembered Mary Ellen's words, "Call upon the wisdom of your ancestors." Summoning every ounce of strength, she cried out, "I renounce every bond. I am a child of God." In that moment, the pressure lifted, the wind ceased, and the room was filled with a profound stillness. Anna opened her eyes, and for the first time in weeks, she felt truly free. Pastor Harris smiled, his relief evident. "It is done," he said. "The chains have been broken." The days that followed were a time of healing. Anna's parents surrounded her with love, recounting stories of their ancestors and the strength of their faith. Pastor Harris continued to visit, guiding her through scripture and prayer, helping her rebuild the foundation that had been shaken. Back at St. Mary's, word spread quickly. Amora and Kelly had abruptly withdrawn from the sisterhood's activities. Rumors swirled, some said they were afraid. Others claimed they were facing unexplained misfortunes. Whatever the truth, their influence began to wane. Anna returned to campus with a renewed sense of purpose. She was no longer the same girl who had left Ridgewood. The scars of her ordeal remained, but they served as reminders of God's power and the strength of her faith. In time, Anna began sharing her story, warning others about the dangers of straying from their values and the importance of remaining steadfast in faith. Her journey from darkness to light became a source of inspiration, a testament to the power of redemption and the enduring strength of love and faith. Years later, as she stood in front of a group of young women at a church retreat, Anna spoke with a voice filled with conviction. "There was a time when I thought I was lost," she said, her gaze sweeping over the audience. "But I learned that no matter how far you fall, it is never too late to return to the light. Hold on to your faith, and remember that you are never alone." Her words resonated deeply, sparking hope in those who listened. Anna's story wasn't just about breaking free from the sisterhood, it was about reclaiming her identity, her purpose, and her faith. As the retreat ended, a young girl approached Anna, her eyes brimming with tears. "Thank you," she said softly. "Your story gives me hope." Anna smiled, her heart full. "Hope is always there," she replied. "Sometimes, you just have to fight to find it." Her journey was far from over, but Anna knew she was stronger now. The lessons she had learned about faith, resilience, and the enduring power of love would guide her for the rest of her life. And as she walked back to her car, the light of the setting sun on her face, she felt at peace. She had found her way home. In the end, Anna's journey was one of transformation, a story of faith rediscovered, strength reclaimed, and light triumphing over darkness. What began as a struggle to belong turned into a fight for her soul. And through resilience, love, and unwavering faith, Anna emerged victorious. Her scars became symbols of her journey, a testament to the power of hope and redemption. Anna's story reminds us that no matter how far we stray, the path back to light is always within reach. Her courage inspires us to stand firm in our values, face our fears, and embrace the love that surrounds us. If this story resonated with you, be sure to subscribe to Life Stories for more heartfelt tales of courage, resilience, and inspiration. Don't miss our next video, where every story has the power to change your perspective. See you next time.